Hi, and welcome back to my channel. A few weeks ago, I showed you the results of the eco dye I did in the autumn. And I mentioned that I was planning on doing a spring eco dye as soon as there were some flowers. Well, I did get some early spring flowers gathered together and went ahead and did a couple of eco boils. Here's the results I'd like to share with you. The flowers I used were violets, dandelions, loropetalum, the flowers and the leaves, the yard onions that sprout up all over the place, and ground phlox. Later on I did some wisteria once those were blooming as well. These here are the loropetalum flowers. And it's really interesting because they're a fuchsia color, but yet the colors that remained ended up being yellows and turquoise and greens. It's kind of amazing. And also I noticed that the colors would show up more vibrant and darker the closer they were to the bottom of the pot, the closer they were to all of the metal, tarnished and rusty metal. Those lines on there are from those onions. I'm hopeful that when some of the onions start blooming, that those flowers will make a pretty eco dye boil too. This here was a bunch of little tiny ground phlox. I just threw bunches onto the paper. And some of the flowers remained even after they'd all been cleaned off and everything. They didn't come off anymore. They just stayed on there, and now they've dried on there, and it's like they're embedded into the paper. It's really cool. This here was a whole bunch of the loropetalum blooms, and I took some of the petals and just sprinkled them all over the paper as well. That's a pretty color on the back too. There's all kinds of, this was dandelion petals and loropetalum. Try to get the color right on here so it doesn't get washed out too much. There was a mix of, I think, everything on this one. Here, a bunch of the petals remained behind, and they've dried, and you can scratch them and they don't come off. It's really cool the way they've embedded into the paper. On the back side, just as gorgeous. Lots of greens and blues and yellows in this one. I just found it astounding that fuchsia colored flowers would reveal those results. Went to the dandelions on that one. Petals and phlox and violets. That's a whole bunch of the phlox there. It gives that really pale turquoise blue color on them. It's very faint, but it's very pretty. Some of these are just really astounding how deep the color gets. Okay. As I was pulling the papers out of the pot, the very first ones, the top ones, where the rock and the wood and everything were on top of them ended up getting damaged quite a bit. The paper is so fragile when it's that wet and it's got all that weight on top of it. So unfortunately, I mean, they won't work for pages, but the paper is so gorgeous. I'm going to find a way to use it anyhow. I'm probably going to end up gluing it onto journal cards or whatever, because I mean the effects are, it's going to be hard to decide which side I want to use. But this one was with the onions. That was the other one. That was the other end of it. That ended up getting kind of destroyed, but still beautiful. Very, very rustic. So I will definitely use it. Once I saw that and was really concerned for the rest of them, quite frankly, I was grateful for how well those came out. I decided, you know, I wonder how it would do with cloth. So stay tuned for part 2, where I show you the results of an eco-boil done on cloth. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment. I'd love to hear your comments and what successes and failures you've had with eco-dyeing. Thanks. Bye.